Hey guys, I'm Miss Killionaire. Yes, I'm Miss Killionaire. And today I have something a little bit different for you. Instead of a let's play, it's going to be a theory slash explanation video for Little Nightmares 2. I love this game. I adore this game. I have not stopped thinking about it since I played it, so I really am excited to make this. Obviously, as a disclaimer, there's going to be spoilers for not only Little Nightmares 2, but also Little Nightmares 1. I feel like you need to talk about both games just to get the full picture, but we won't be talking about the first game as much as the second game. Originally, when I was gonna make this video, I was gonna go super professional. I was gonna have like a script on the side, I was gonna do no face cam, and be like, yes, I am Little Nightmares 2 expert. But that's not me, so we're not going to be doing it like that. So the first thing that we're going to be talking about is that the game is prequel. So there's more than enough evidence to back this up, and I'm going to elaborate on those points now. The first point is that we learned that our companion is 6. We learned that it's 6. It was like such a mind-blowing moment for me to find this out. It was so cool. Another thing backing this up that this is actually 6 and this is how she gets her raincoat is that when we get the raincoat, it unlocks the achievement called True Colors. Alright, the second reason why I think that this is a prequel is because we get to see what I like to call 6's slow descent into madness. It's almost kind of like an origin story for her. 6's hunger isn't present in the entirety of the game. She seems honestly pretty innocent up until she gets kidnapped in the school. First, she snaps the ceramic child's neck. Second, after you deal with the hand monsters in the hospital, which were terrifying. They were so scary. You can find 6 sitting on the floor and she's messing around with a dummy arm. And if you look closely, she's actually breaking its fingers. That's not good. The third instance is after the chase with the doctor. If you decide to burn him alive, which you don't have to do, by the way, you can see 6 warming her hands. Yes, fire. The last instance is obviously 6 deciding to let go of Mono at the end of the game, which I will go more into later because I honestly just love this scene so much. I think it was done so good. The third reason is obviously the secret ending. If you collect all 18 of the glitching remains, which are scattered all throughout the chapters, you get to see this scene. So basically, we see 6 get out of the TV, and there's also this dark version of herself. If you look at the floor, there's a piece of paper as well that signifies that she most likely went to the mall after this. Her hunger also starts at this point. Some people like to think that her hunger started because she feels remorse for what she did to Mono, but I like to think what happened is that when the Thin Man captured her, he essentially split her and it causes this almost void inside of her that just can't be filled. She's hungry. The last reason that I think that this is a prequel is because if we look at Little Nightmares 1, every single time that 6 has this hungriness, we see the dark version of herself present in all of those scenes. Another thing worth mentioning here is that this dark version was created by the Thin Man, so there's no way that this version of her could exist without the events of the second game taking place before the first game. That's honestly enough for me to say that this is a prequel. It's very compelling evidence. So the next thing that we're going to be talking about is our main character in Little Nightmares 2, which is Manu, and what the fuck is going on with him. I honestly, there was a few different things that I thought were going on with Mono, but I pretty much struggled between one of two things. It was either that Mono was destined to become the next Thin Man, or Mono was stuck in a time loop. I think honestly that there's enough to back up both of those theories. I tend to personally more lean towards the fact that Mono is just becoming the next Thin Man instead of a time loop. So in the very, very beginning of the game, like the beginning, I actually didn't notice this a few times that I played through. So when you first start the game, Mono actually comes out of a TV and it turns off. But if you look at the background, there's 4 other TVs that you can see and they're all broken. So it does raise the possibility that Mono is going through this time loop over and over again, and each time he fails, the TV breaks. It could also explain why when you're going through the Pale City, specific TVs break because he's making the wrong decision that will ultimately make him become the Thin Man. Another reason that could back up both the time loop theory and Mono just becoming the next Thin Man is his abilities revolving around TVs. The whole chapter of the Pale City also revolves around this ability. It was so cool going through this level. I loved it so much. He also uses these abilities pretty much instinctually, like he just knows. I think him having this ability doesn't necessarily mean that he was the Thin Man all along. I like to think that maybe him having this power just made him be a potential replacement for the Thin Man. So strong. Something else that I find really interesting is that when you first encounter the Thin Man, he only captures 6. He pretty much just fucking ignores you. There's a possibility that it could be an attempt from the Thin Man to break the loop, or it could be that the Thin Man is capturing 6 so that she can see the resemblance between him and Mono, so that she will end up betraying him at the end of the game. I just want to say, I love this scene so much, I can make an entire video on it. Seriously, I love this ending so much. Something we have to remember is that throughout the entire game, 6 has never, ever seen Mono's face. In this scene, 6 doesn't drop Mono immediately. It almost looks like there's some bit of hesitation. How I interpreted this part is that 6 is finally seeing Mono's face. So she's either seeing the resemblance between him and the Thin Man, or she can sense that he has almost the same presence as the Thin Man. 6 probably drops Mono in an attempt to rid him of his fate, but she is actually the very reason that he becomes the Thin Man. So with all that being said, here's a few things that I think were still worth mentioning. Upon completion of the game, you actually get the Thin Man's hat. If you put this hat on, you get an achievement, and it's called How Do I Look? With underneath it saying, perfect, it's so you. The next is glitching remains. All throughout the levels, you can find these remains. From what we've seen, the Thin Man creates these when he kidnaps somebody into the Pale City. I think the reason he was capturing the children to begin with was because he was trying to find the person responsible for turning him into what he is. Even playing the game multiple times, I still lean more towards it just being that Mono is becoming the next Thin Man. I think at the end of the day, the story that Little Nightmares 1 and 2 is trying to tell us is that our characters, Mono and 6, are becoming what they fear the most. Mono and 6 are the Little Nightmares. So I think that's gonna be all for today. I just wanted to keep it really short and simple. I feel like this game can be interpreted in so many different ways, and that's really awesome. I really would like to hear what you guys think is going on in the game, or what your own theory is. It's just a really fun game to talk about. It just goes to show you how great a game can be without ever using dialogue. I also just want to give a very brief update on what's going on with me. Currently on stream, we're still working on Dark Souls 3 No Hit Any %. My uploads on YouTube for the time being might be a little bit inconsistent. I'm still trying to learn how to balance full-time streaming and trying to do YouTube full-time. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Bye!